My leftover today is about the Bible, but more specifically about the Bible as relationship. I love the Bible. I really, really, really love the Bible. But I didn't always, because I didn't even know what that meant. I grew up, like so many of you, in a culture and in a time period where love was unheard of. It wasn't that there was hate, it was that there was no understanding of the idea of a relationship or really loving someone. It was all about work, work, work. Get the job done. Don't care about the person doing the job. But when I learned about relationship and began to experience relationship, especially with God, that's when I really, really grew to love the Bible. And I could begin to understand David's Psalms, where his love was so expressive and so strong. And it wasn't exaggerated, it was real. Or Isaiah, or Daniel, or Paul, or the Apostle John. And you could go on and on and on. They loved the Bible. And when I say I love the Bible, what I mean is that I don't love it for its own sake, for the sake of just studying and expressing and teaching and learning facts of the Bible. But I have come to see that the Bible is the heart of God, just as Jesus Christ is the heart of God, and that they want us as believers in Christ to know their heart, to know them, not just theology, not just doctrine, though that is a way to know them. They want us to know them personally, to know what God is like, to be able to relate to Him, to be able to talk to Him, to be able to understand Him, to know what Jesus Christ is like, to have personal access to God's thoughts and an explanation of His creation. It's a gift so amazing that we can never fully appreciate it. Isaiah tried to. He said, "As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are your thoughts, God's thoughts, higher than our thoughts, unexplainably higher." But yet, God said, "I want to share my thoughts with you. I want to share my life with you. I want to share everything about me with you that you are capable of understanding." And that's going to take a process. That's going to take some time. When we first learn to love God and trust that He only wants the best for us, and He does, we begin to realize how wonderful the Bible is because it is all from Him. I have a friend that calls the Psalms poetic license, trying to discredit them because he can't imagine anyone loving the Bible like David does. If my friend could only get to know God a little better, he would understand that David is quite serious, deadly serious, and I am too. There's nothing in this world, anywhere, in truth and reality that is close to the heart of God like the Bible. Because God is truth, God is reality, God is the source of all reality. And as well as he's the source of love, of wisdom, of creation, and everything that is good. And he's the one who gave us his own son for our restoration to God. And then in the Bible explained to us through his words, through the words of Jesus, how Jesus can transform our lives. As I see more and more Christians and churches develop a resistance to the Bible and want to pick and choose what parts they believe, I'm deeply saddened because they are giving up on some of the richest truth and direction and input in the universe. Wisdom directly from the throne of God. Though I have studied the Bible exclusively for many years, and I've had the privilege of having some intense training in the Bible, I've not always appreciated its richness as much as I do now. I believe that's because I'm learning to know God. I'm learning to know Christ better than I ever have. And because of that, I love everything he says. I learn something new every day. Sometimes most times I get up in the morning and I don't always have a regular passage that I'm studying from. Sometimes I do. But I just open the Bible at random and it just hits me between the eyes. What incredible truth. Things that I've long forgotten or things that I didn't know. And we keep learning, going to deeper and deeper levels of understanding. And I'm in a new stage of life since I am retired, and I've visited a number of churches and visiting around good churches that preach the gospel, preach the Bible. But there's one emphasis that I've noticed pretty regularly. When people and churches say, I'm not listening to that because I know what's good for me. What they're saying is that they might be smarter than God. Wisdom is a funny thing. Once God opens our mind to his truth, we can't unsee it. And I know that most of you know about the story of the blind man that Jesus healed in John chapter 9. And his classic statement was, I may not know much, but I know that I can see. And I think that that's what I'm experiencing in the Bible. I may not know all of God's truth or very little of it, but when I learn something new, I know that I can see what I could not see before. And that is rich. That is life-changing. That is a relationship with a wonderful, loving, and caring, and glorious God who invites me to learn from him. And then he says, if you love my word, I will teach you. I will open your heart to my word. If we do his will, he opens our minds. In John 8:43, Jesus is having an interaction with the Pharisees, who of course hated him. And he says, rhetorical question, why don't you understand what I'm saying? It's because you can't hear my words. Now, they weren't deaf. He was just going to heal the blind man and was going to teach them a lesson from it. And then he says, because I speak the truth, you don't believe me. There comes a point where we don't want the truth. And so we reject it. Because I speak the truth, that's the only reason that they rejected Jesus. He who is of God hears the words of God. For this reason, you don't hear them, because you're not of God. Now, they, of course, didn't hear him. They didn't, those words didn't mean anything to the Pharisees, but they mean something to me, and they mean something to us. He spoke this for our sake, not for theirs, because they couldn't hear. If we are of God, the more we grow in our depth of understanding and love and care and appreciation for God, the more our understanding to him opens up, the more we're able to learn from him. And that's all.